Thank you for joining the Doctor Whisperer. I am your host, Sharon Feckety, and I am happy to bring you a show where we talk about the business of medicine. I hope that you enjoy it. Please feel free to share, subscribe, and pass it on. Enjoy the show. Hello. Sharon Feckety, Doctor Whisperer, host, and all things phenom. Okay, now I'm going to pump myself up because we've been having some technical issues, but that's not going to stop us because we are here today to talk about Life Guard Imaging with Martine Gramatica, who is the VP of Business Development, and so much more because, I don't know, you might recognize his name. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk to you, and I'm excited to share some information on what we do.
Awesome. Well, I've already had the great pleasure of coming to your office, getting scanned, being cleared. My dad having congestive heart failure, I was a little scared to find out some bad things, but it's good to know that there are places like yours that can give me that peace of mind. And the test was so easy, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But why don't you share with the audience why you decided to start working with Life Guard Imaging?
Well, I was first a patient. I wasn't feeling right, and I heard an ad on the radio. And then a couple of weeks later, I meet Frankie and Eric on an airplane on the way to a Bucs game. And Frankie's, as everybody knows, he's a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan, and he had a Chiefs T-shirt on a Bucs plane. So I had to say something. I go, "There's no way you're allowed to be on this plane with that shirt." So yeah, we let him in, and we hit it off. We had a great time that weekend with Eric and Frankie, and then we landed on Sunday from the game, Sunday night. Tuesday morning, I went and got my scan. And 2 weeks later, I drugged my wife to get her scan. And just the atmosphere and just the way everybody's at the office, I just fell in love with it, with just the whole concept of it. And, when talking to Frankie and Eric, they asked me if I wanted to be a part of it, but I didn't want to be a part of it with just my image where I would just promote it. I said, if I want to do it, I believe in it. I want to be all in. So I want to be part of the company or work with day to day. I don't want to just do a couple commercials and then go about my business. So that's what I'm doing now because I believe in it. I love what we're doing. And we're literally saving 1 to 3 lives a day. And we see an average, 10 to 15 patients a day. And in those patients, we're seeing things that they didn't know they had. They come in feeling great. Just like you, when you came in, if you're feeling great and all of a sudden we find something, you're going to be shocked. But if we find it early, you have a chance. And that's what we do. We find it early enough where our patients have a chance to not have to go through stage 4 cancer, or obviously with heart disease, it's a heart attack.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because for women, right, we were told that you have to wait until you're 40 to get a mammogram. So that's what we were told. And we realize now that we should be going a lot earlier. And then we should wait until we're 50 to get a colonoscopy. And I shared this with you guys when I was there, that I'm going to be 50 in October. And I've really been waiting because it's something that I just don't want to do. I mean, I am not afraid to admit that. And I know that technology has come a long way and it's not as bad. And prevention is fantastic, but you guys have something called the virtual colonoscopy. So why don't you share a little bit about that?
And I'm 46, and it started where it should, they wanted us to get tested at 50, then it was reduced to 45. And now there's talks that are going to even recommend it at 40 because, there's so many, deaths from colon cancer. So I myself had not had one because I fear the prep. You have to drink the 2 gallons and then you're going to be under anesthesia. So it just doesn't sound like a pleasant experience, even though it's a necessary evil because we need to do it. We have to do it. But what we do at our office is a virtual colonoscopy, which is much less invasive. Well, first of all, there's no anesthesia. There's no there's minimal prep. Now I won't say no, but instead of the big gallons, now it's 2 10-ounce bottles, basically, or cups. So since it's virtual, we don't have to clean everything out. And the insertion, instead of it being a 6-foot probe that really goes up and around your colon, now it's a 2.5-inch insertion that pumps a little air in your stomach. Now you run through the scanner, and way different than a regular colonoscopy, we see the inner and outer colon. because there's been many cases where a patient comes out of a colonoscopy with a clean colonoscopy and eventually passes away with colon cancer because the cancer was on the outer wall and then it seeped into the colon. So we see it all with our virtual colonoscopy. And the nice thing is no anesthesia. You can go right to work that same day, come yourself. You don't need somebody to drive you. So it takes a lot of those factors out, and it's a lot safer. There's been issues where the regular colonoscopy has punctured the colon wall, and that's not a good thing. People have died from it. So yeah, it's a much safer way to do it. And I'm going to be scheduling mine soon, but it's going to. Oh yeah, definitely. At 46, I figured, why not? I have access to it. Why not?
I think it's amazing, and it's really like prevention is everything. And I work with mostly integrative medicine doctors where we talk about prevention and we talk about wellness and we talk about alternative modalities so we can stay healthy and live longer. And we're all living longer. But there's so many ways today that we can prevent and detect. And, one of the things that I loved about the scan in particular, so I want to share my experience about going for the scan. So I wasn't real excited about it. I'm never real excited about doing anything medical. And, I work in the healthcare industry. So I don't know what that says about me, but it's the truth. And when I went there and realized that, first of all, everybody was so pleasant. You walk in, it's a beautiful space in Rocky Point. It's absolutely gorgeous here in Tampa Bay. And the staff, from the time I walked through the door till I met the technician, and then I went in, I didn't have to put on that ugly, robe with my butt sticking out. And I laid down, I put my arms up and I went through. It wasn't claustrophobic. I think a lot of people have a fear of being in an enclosed capsule. And this was very open and it felt like it took 9 seconds. I'm sure it was longer than that, but it was so quick. And, I was able, because I came at a time where it wasn't that busy, which I was very lucky, and I was sticking around. So I got my results pretty fast. And I was clear, and I felt so good knowing that I could go through this and continue to take care of myself, right? Because there's so many things that we can do to live longer, working out, eating right, living a life of a professional athlete, how important it is to take care of ourselves. But these technologies that are here today are just incredible. So tell me about, a funny story, everybody. I was driving home and I was on the phone with my husband telling him I was going to stick around a little longer after meeting Martine at the office and all the great staff. And I said, Martine, and he was like, are you kidding me? You mean the football player? I'm like, okay, I guess so. Yeah, I had no idea, which is, typical for me. That's the story of my life. But I love that you have taken this wonderful organization to help other people to live longer. And also back it with the network of people that you have and helping the community. You've been very impactful in the community. Of course, I did my research after I met you. It felt like a mo, not knowing who you are. It's like, how do you not know that? I'm like, well, you know me. And I think that it's pretty impressive. So why this passion? Because it's very obvious. You start talking about lifeguard imaging and you light up. So what is it about this space that's got you so on fire?
Well, I've never been involved with anything that saves lives. I played, like you said, professional sports. I had my own business where we do construction and we do prefab, but you're not saving people's lives. You're impacting people. And, if you win a game, you make them happy for a few days. And then if you lose the next weekend, they're sad. So in this case, when patients come in, and we say, and I felt it with my friends. I mean, I've had friends that have had really high scores that have stents put in right now, or have had stents put in where we've saved their lives, because we don't know when that heart attack is going to come or when it could happen. So by them coming in, getting their scan, we find high scores. So that's why I love what we're doing. And that's why we're so passionate, and not just me, but everybody at the office. And that's what I loved about being a patient first, because I felt the love from the staff. I felt how everybody's there, because we know and we understand that anyone that's coming to get a scan has a little bit of anxiety, because I had it myself. I'm sure you experienced that because the unknown. So we want to make sure everybody feels comfortable, feels good about where they're at. And that's why I every day we see somebody that is saved, and it's just incredible. And I'm just so happy and thankful that I can be a part of this, because it's not something that I just wanted to lend my name to and do a couple commercials. I wanted to be all in, because it's I'm seeing it now. Originally I thought it was a slogan, we save 1 to 3 lives a day. And it sounds like a cool slogan, but to me, being in the office now for 3.5 months, I'm seeing it every day, and I've witnessed it with friends of mine. So that's why I believe in it so much, but I love doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and you hear all the time, I think I shared this when I was there. I worked in pediatrics for years, and I knew this pediatric cardiologist, and he was a runner and used to run every morning. And he was running one morning and had a heart attack and died and left behind, his kids and his wife. And we hear this story way too much, even if you are living this life of wellness and being proactive about your health, there could be some underlying issues that, like, why wouldn't you take this opportunity to prevent this, multitude of illnesses to come? So tell me a little bit about, the cancer thing.
Yes.
Right. So, and I know we've had a discussion about how, if you guys had found something that day when I was scanned, you would have recommended me to go see my cardiologist. That would have been the first thing, correct?
Well, we can't recommend anything because there's no doctors on staff. We just supply you the information, but basically, depending on the score, we tell you, look, if it were me, I would go see a cardiologist. I would go see my primary care doctor. So we just give you the range, we give you the information. And at the end of the day, we can't force a patient to go see a doctor, but we give them invaluable information that they can give to their primary care doctor, cardiologist, or whatever the case may be. So that's why we scan from the neck all the way to the pelvis. In our mid region, there's 90% of the deadliest cancers are in our mid region, our organs. And with our full body scan, which we call it the full body scan, we see every single organ in 3D. So there's nothing we miss. The difference between our scanner and any company can do this, any hospital can do this, but hospitals don't scan your full body unless they just scan for symptoms. So your heart, your lung, whatever. If you have a little pain, they'll scan a side of your body. With one scan, we see every single organ. And now if there's anything, hopefully, let's say there's nothing, everything's unremarkable. Now we have a baseline. So for our legacy members that are scanning year after year, now let's say something, a little shadow, or we see a spot year 3, now we can do a little dive and check to make sure and see, go see a specialist and make sure there's not anything bad. Or if it is, now you're catching it at its earliest stage. So it's going to be very early on and not stage 3 or 4, when sometimes it's just too late to do anything.
We interrupt this awesome podcast to share with you about our sponsor, TIE Technology. TIE Technology was founded with the thought that every customer deserves exceptional customer services. So if you know of any company that has a phone system where the auto attendant doesn't really sound good, you press 1 and you think you're going to go to a live person, but you end up with a broken recording, it's probably time that you call TIE Technology. And if you mention this podcast, you will get the first 3 months for free. So make sure you mention the Dr. Whisperer podcast show. Check them out. Yeah. And, after I did my scan, I got a full report in an email. It was very diligent. I was very happy to see that. The technology runs through not just having a good experience when you're in the office, and the imaging was great and the feedback was great. The technician was so nice. But I also got an email, to show me. So if I wanted to take the next step, and I have it, and I will share it with my primary care doctor so they can see and keep this report in my own chart, because, we really do have to get more patient advocacy. We are our greatest asset when it comes to our healthcare, and we have to be proactive about our health. We shouldn't be waiting until something horrible happens to finally get care or start taking care of ourselves. So I think what you guys are doing is really incredible. I know that I watched an episode that you all did on Bloom TV. It was nice to see some patient testimonials. I'm sure not so nice of them to come in and get the scan and find something out, but now they're living a good life and happy and grateful that they had this scan prior, and now they can go on hopefully a bunch more years on the planet. So
no, absolutely. And you know, we those are success stories, you know, and talking to Frankie and Eric, because at first when I was giving my friends someone bad news, because you know, when you find something, it's not news you want to hear, but at the end of the day, it is great news that you found it early, especially when it comes to the heart disease. So and I felt like really bad because I'm ruining their day, but we're saving their life. So you may ruin one day of their life, but you're saving it at the same time. So that's why, you know, at the end of the day, I have so many friends that don't want to come in because I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. But the thing is, we're all going to know. If something's going on, you're going to know. So why not know early and get it treated? Because if you wait till the symptoms, at times it's too late. So the I don't want to know excuse is really not a good excuse, because if there's something going on, we're going to know, and you're going to find out eventually. So, but I have so many friends that are just that have that anxiety. They're like, well, it's like a car. If I go to my mechanic, they're going to find something. I'd rather not go. Well, you can't drive your car forever without changing its oil, without checking it. So eventually you have to go in. And that's why I'm encouraging all my friends and anybody that we speak to come in, and we're running a great special, you know, which is the complimentary coronary artery scan, which is a $600 value, and anybody that's listening to your podcast can come in and get that scan, and then if they want to see the rest of the package and they enroll in the full body, they can do that. If they don't, if that's all they want is the heart scan, that's fine. So there's no reason why anybody should not take advantage of this opportunity.
I 100% agree. All right. So Martine, a few things have gone on since we started this podcast show. One of my favorite things so far has been the fact that your daughter was literally like crawling in and out of the room. So that was so far one of my favorite parts. I've seen your dog. Obviously, you're married to an Irish woman because your daughter is blonde, and you are from Argentina. So it would be a sin if I didn't have the opportunity to talk to you about your life as a man who a young man. You came here at 9 years old from Argentina, and you played soccer first, which is, my dad played soccer in the army from Ireland. So to come here to this country and then go all the way to a Super Bowl, you're going to have to share with the audience, or else all my male friends that want to kick my butt every time I get to meet somebody like you that don't ask the question, what was it like? Can you share with us a little bit about your career in football?
No, it was something that I never dreamed of, being a football player, because I grew up in Argentina. And then when I came to the United States, I played soccer, and I only played football my senior year in high school. And once I, decided to stop playing soccer and dedicate my life to football, then that's when I went all in. I said, I want to make it to the pros. I want to win a Super Bowl. But it was my senior year in high school. So it wasn't like I always had a dream of being a football player, but it just worked out that way. So I'm very thankful, because we talk about the American dream, and I'm living proof of that. I came from another country when I was 9, and that's why, we support our veterans, and we want to thank our veterans for all the freedoms that we have, because we left a country that didn't have these freedoms, and this is why we came to the United States. So yeah, it's been a blessing. I can't complain about anything that's happened, because I wasn't supposed to be a football player. I wasn't supposed to be a guy that won a Super Bowl where I'm from. And it happened. So I'm very excited about that and very thankful for that.
I love that you say that. I just left speaking about mental health in the workplace. I'm a 27-year sober woman. I've shared many times on the show that I was gifted an opportunity to stay alive and to give back. And so for me to, not give back would be so selfish. And for you to take on what you've been given, I mean, you had to have some skill and some talent. Let's be real. I mean, nobody gave that to you. You had to work really hard. But that you've given back so much. And I know that you have Gramatica Family Foundation, which is a mission of building homes for military families, correct? And combat veterans?
Yes, combat wounded veterans. we were building the full home, and then with Pinellas Habitat, we built a couple with them, and they're a great partner of ours. We're also expanded it now to doing some more remodels. Yesterday, I had my whole soccer team cleaning a veteran's yard. We're just trying to do a little bit more because the way the economy is now, it's really hard to build a whole house from scratch. We just can't fundraise enough. So instead of having 3 years worth of fundraising to build one house, we're trying to do smaller projects to be able to help more veterans. But it's been the community. We I know it's Gramatica Family Foundation, but we've had so much support from the community. The Buccaneers are behind us, help us out as well. So it's been really, really nice to see the support and then get to know the veterans. The Charlie Lemon, the first recipient of our home, he's part of our board. He's part of our family now. He's not even a friend. He's a family. He's an amazing guy. And so we're very thankful that we can do that. And it's crazy that they thank us for helping them with their home. And I said, there's no need to thank us at all. You've given everything for our country. So we thank them for all their service. So it's really nice that we can do that. And it's really nice that I can do that with my kids. For me, it's very important that our kids know and appreciate our military because, I feel like it's getting lost a little bit in the home, getting lost in the school where we're not showing our kids the right way, showing our kids to be respectful, have manners. And for me, that's very important. So I want them to appreciate and know what our veterans do for us.
Yeah, that's so great. Oh my God, Martin, I liked you when I met you. I hate to say I like you more now. And my father was in the Army, and when he moved here to this country from Ireland, he came to play soccer. So he played soccer in the Army, and but just like the gifts, he still talks about it like it happened yesterday, which is so wonderful. And I think that sometimes you appreciate it more when you're not from this country, this land of incredible opportunity and what our military does for us. And I work with a wonderful client that does corporate housing for the military. So I'll have to introduce you. You will get along famously. But I really appreciate all that you're doing, all that you do for the community, but especially this lifeguard imaging. I would highly recommend everybody to take advantage of this offer to come in and have that free scan. It really lifted me up in many, many ways. I know that my parents were very happy. My mom is an echo tech by trade. So when I showed her the scan, she was like, what is this? She was so happy to see that I was being proactive about my health, but I couldn't have done that without lifeguard imaging. So Martin, thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy your vacation that is so well-deserved coming up.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on and spreading the word. And the one thing, the peace of mind, you have low, or I don't want to say your score. I'll let you say it, but
0.
Yeah, I didn't want to brag for you, but we can brag together. I'm a 0 too, so we can brag together. But
yes.
the peace of mind is priceless. I mean, just to know that, now you don't have to think about that. And that doesn't mean you don't have to take care of yourself and still live a clean life, but at least you know that what you're doing is working. So, but
who knew we would both be so excited about being 0s? All right. Well, with that, we have 2 0s signing off. Martin, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate you having me on today.
Thank you. So don't forget, if you mention that you've seen the show or listened to it on the podcast, mention Thai Technology and you will get 3 months for free. They're the best.